Hi guys, thanks for joining us again. Today we're going to be ranking one of our favourite albums. This album is, by the way, by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was originally released in 2002, is it?
Absolutely correct. Yes.
This is a band that Anthony introduced me to originally, and I have him to thank for liking this band, and this is my favourite album by this band. I don't know about him. Would you say it's your favourite?
Hard to choose a favourite, but it's certainly up there. I think it's their best collection of songs.
Yeah. So we're just going to start off right away. So what we're going to do is we're going to count down worst to best on this album.
I would also like to preface there are no worsts in this list. We love, me personally, I love every song in this album. So
I
this
do
was
as well.
actually, and Lewis said as well, we were both tearing our hair out actually trying to do this, trying to rank the album. So.
Yeah. I think you should start us off with your least, and I'll say mine, and then we'll work our way down.
Least favourite, the Zephyr song.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Could you explain why?
It might be some of the singles, it might just be fatigue, but I just feel there's songs that I would rather hear.
I can understand that, yeah. I must say, I've tried my best not to let fatigue of the song impact it. Like, I've tried to think, like, why did I love this song in the past? And does it still hold a place in my heart, even though, like, it's gotten a bit tired on my ears?
Okay.
But if you want to do that, that's fine. I personally am trying my best to kind of go with it with fresh ears. But that's your opinion. If you say Zephyr song, that's fair enough. My least favourite on this album, personally, Cabron.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, I knew
you were going to say that.
I don't dislike it. It's a good song, right? It's just, I feel like it doesn't fit in as well with the rest of the album. Really light-hearted. It's predominantly acoustic. There's nothing wrong with acoustic, but it kind of stands out like a sore thumb on this very electric guitar-dominated album.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's catchy, and I won't skip it when it comes on. I'd skip none of these songs, but if I had to put one at the bottom, it would be Cabron, personally.
I accept your analysis, and I do actually agree, and it's totally out of place.
Yeah. On
this album, but I'm very glad it's there.
Yeah, and tell me your second pick or your second to worst.
Again, I think I might just be too emotionally attached to the album at this point, and it's maybe fatigue from some songs, but universally speaking.
You son of a bitch. So would you mainly say fatigue? Would you say any other reason?
With universally speaking, and it's similar to the Zephyr song, it might just be my particular tastes. As much as I try to kind of branch out, I'm a guitar player at heart.
Yep.
And it's like the guitar in the Zephyr song, and universally speaking, is good, but it just like, I don't know what it is, and I'm immediately regretting this decision.
That's fair enough, I'll accept that. Okay, my second pick, On Mercury.
Is it similar to the reason for Cabron?
A little bit. I do find the kind of harmonica, is it harmonica?
I think it is.
I find it a bit jarring. Again, like, I know I sound a bit basic by saying this, but I kind of just like I'm not saying like don't experiment with things, I find it quite unfitting of the Chili Peppers to have a harmonica like just ripping away in the album. And it's got quite an acoustic feel to it. I know there's electronic instruments in it, but again, I wouldn't skip it. I wouldn't skip any of these songs. But there's other songs I would rather listen to, like you said.
Fair enough.
What's your next pick?
My next pick actually is Cabron.
Right. So you can't really say anything.
No, I know. And I'm not just copying you. It was for that reason. It is totally out of place on the album.
Yeah.
But I love the song. In fact, wee anecdote, on my first ever acoustic gig, that was one of the songs that I played at my first ever acoustic gig when I was 15. So that, again, as with a lot of the album, it hits me in there. Do you know what I love about Cabron? The slide guitar, it reminds me of like Tom and Jerry, like when they go on cruises and like the old Tom and Jerry episodes. It puts the nostalgia blinkers on for a time that I never lived in.
Right, my next pick, I'm trying not to change my mind here at the last minute. Throw away your television. There's a few reasons for it, right? I don't really love the vocal performance on it. I think there's better vocal performances on the album.
Agreed.
I like the energy of the song. You might disagree with me here. I actually really find the harmony quite jarring in this song. It's a repeat.
I kind of agree. I was listening to it just not long before we started the call.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of agreed. I felt like he could have, if he was going to harmonise, it could have been at different bits of the song.
Aye. I just personally don't dig it that much. It's just not for me. But I don't hate it again. It was your number 13.
13 for me, it's funny, it's kind of going the same as it's on Mercury. And again, less so than Cabron, it's still kind of out of place on the album. But what I think kind of pulls it back a wee bit more than Cabron for me, it's the kind of additional instruments on the chorus. Kind of remind me, it kind of ties in with some of the other tracks on the album.
Yeah.
That's why it's above Cabron.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. It's above Cabron for me as well. So, moving on then. My pick is, you're going to hate me for this one. You're going to hate me for this one because I know you like this song.
Okay.
Venice Queen.
Oh, what?
I just don't vibe with it.
Oh my god.
I mean, I like it. I like the guitar part, the do 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 do. But I really don't like the last half of the song, the kind of faster bit. It's just
really,
yeah. I mean, there's parts of it that just I find jarring. I don't like a song too much that changes drastically that much halfway through. Like I find that quite jarring in a lot of songs.
Would you not like Bohemian Rhapsody?
That's an outlier. What's your next one?
So my one, and funnily enough, it's kind of gone in the exact same order after the first two, is Throw Away Your Television.
Yeah. Is it for the same reason, or?
Yes, kind of similar reason. I think some of the harmonies are a bit out of place, a bit jarring.
Yep.
I think I've been spoiled by watching some of the live performances. I don't know if you've ever seen them do that song live. They do a whole other section at the end. So now when I listen to the album, it's like half the song's missing.
My next one is a bit of a controversial one, I think it will be, but Can't Stop. I think mostly, and I'm sounding like I'm repeating you, but it's a little bit fatigue. Like, I feel like on this album there's two songs that I've heard more than anything else, and the one for me that's grated on me the most is definitely Can't Stop. But I think it's the one I've heard more than any other one. Like, I mean, I heard it every time I listened to the album when I wanted to, but I heard it anytime I turn on the TV on a music channel. It was everywhere. You're
right, it literally is everywhere. Another wee anecdote, the first time I ever went on a night out, the night that I turned 18, the first song when I walked into the nightclub was Can't Stop. I was like, haha, they know that I've arrived. But yeah, no, I kind of get you, and on that note, that's also my pick in that place.
Oh really, aye?
Yeah, the exact same spot.
Any more to add, or just the same kind of...
No, the ironic thing is I'd probably complain if it wasn't there. I'd say the album was too one-dimensional, but I feel even Can't Stop's kind of out of place.
Yeah.
On the album.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know if funky's the right word, but...
It is fun. Yeah, it's funky.
And I know the Chili Peppers are funky at heart, but this album isn't funky at heart, I would say.
Nah.
Right. My pick for the next one is Midnight. I found this one really hard to place.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the songs where I don't know if you'd agree, but most of the time I find choruses are the part you look forward to in a song. But it's the opposite with this song for me. I actually prefer the verses by quite a bit to the chorus. I really like the eerie kind of soundscape they've got through the verses in this one.
Yeah.
Sounds quite spooky to me, and I like that. But there's nothing wrong with the chorus. I just feel like it leaves a little bit to be desired, but it's still a good song.
Can't really fault you there if you just prefer a certain part of the song. I can't really say anything other than the fact that I disagree, and I think that the chorus is amazing.
It is good. I'm not saying it's not good. I just kind of look forward to the verse coming back in rather than the other way around, if that makes sense.
That's fair enough.
How about you?
So in that spot for me is By the Way.
Right.
And again, love the song. It was actually probably the first Chili Peppers song that I heard, because it was By the Way. Again, Auntie Jean came back for holiday saying that she'd been on a boat and heard this album, and it was amazing from front to back.
Yep.
And showed me it, and that would have probably been the first song that I heard of them. But I do love the song. It's just, I suppose the reason that By the Way maybe is lower than maybe would be expected is the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know the bit I'm talking about? The kind of the chant.
Aye.
That for whatever reason that bit just doesn't quite land for me. That bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. I get that. My pick for the next one is I Could Die For You. Quite a tough one to place. A song I really enjoy. I really don't have any much to say negative about this. It's just I like the other songs in the album better. It's not like it's done anything wrong. It's just, see Beyond Now. there's a good chance I might only be able to say I like the other songs better. That's about it.
That's exactly how I've kind of been feeling. After this point, it's not that there's anything actually negative really that I can say about the songs.
Yeah.
After this point, it essentially became a free-for-all.
For me as well. I sent you a message saying, like, how do we rank this? How?
I know. Right, the next one for me is actually Midnight, which I'm surprised about because when I was younger, this was actually my favourite song on the album. And I don't know why, for whatever reason, I still love it. I just maybe don't love it quite as much as I did when I was 10. And I do still love the chorus, you know, unlike somebody here.
I like it. Alright, I like it. I just like the verse a little bit more.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What's your spot at number 9?
This Is the Place. A really tough one to pick. I was about to pick the one next to this on my list.
Right.
But This Is the Place. It's a really good song. A really sick bass line, and me being a bass player, I appreciate that. But it's just everybody's firing on all cylinders with this song. But again, I just prefer the other songs a bit more.
So number 8 for me is Tear. I thought it was going to be higher. I really did. I thought it was going to be higher. And to be honest, there's nothing, I can't actually say anything bad about the song because I absolutely love it. Yep, Tear gets the number 8 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm looking at my number 7 and I'm like, maybe could have flipped those. It's a wee bit different than the other songs, but in a good way that meshes well.
Yeah, I would agree. Yep, it's a good call. My number 8 pick is By the Way. So there's not much you can say about this that hasn't been said already. It's a really good song. But I feel like Fatigue, that's what I was talking about with Can't Stop. The other one I was going to say was By the Way. I've heard it too many times, but I still appreciate it being a really good song.
Yeah.
But I just prefer the other ones a little bit more in the album. That's it. Number 7.
Right then. Number 7 for me is Warm Tape. But don't forget, remember back in the day I didn't really like this song all that much.
Yeah, true.
So it's you know, for being more than halfway up to the top, it's done not too bad. You know, it's interesting that I said earlier on maybe the simplicity of some of the guitar tones turned me off. In this case, the simplicity of the guitar line is what I enjoy about it.
Yeah.
Just the single lines, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Cool. I'll leave my thoughts to it until it comes up on my list.
Fair enough.
Right, my pick now is Universally Speaking. This used to be one of my favourite songs by the band, not just on this album, but the band in general.
Yeah.
I sound like a broken record, but I've heard it so many times now. But I still like it. It's got quite a nostalgic feel for me because it's one of the ones that I listened to most when I first listened to it. Yeah, I like the kind of shimmery synthy tones. Like that's one of my favourite kind of things about this album. It's got a really shiny, glossy kind of feel, helped by a lot of like kind of subtle synth work. I really like it. I can't fault it. It's just it feels summery to me, and that's good.
Yeah. Next one for me is This Is the Place. And it probably would have been in a similar spot to yours, which was a wee bit earlier in the list, but purely by virtue of the bridge. I love the bridge. It's like it just slams at that bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw you out there. That bit, it's like he's crying out.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, I can't fault that at all. That's a good placement. My next pick, number 6, is Minor Thing. Now, this song I never used to like that much.
Well.
It grew on me quite a bit. I feel like this was my warm tape for you. See, even just as recently as when we done our last video, and you were telling me you were talking about what you liked about Minor Thing, I was like, I know the song inside out, but like it's been so long since I've heard it, so I've not listened to it through fresh ears. But I've listened to the album quite a lot recently, and it's one of my favourites on the album, definitely. The harmony work is great. The guitar work is amazing. Like you said, it's some of the best guitar work on the album, which is saying a lot. Yeah, it's just a really good song.
I agree. Number 5 for me is I Could Die For You.
Okay, yep.
I remember, I don't know why, it was like silly, when I was young and posted stupid things on Facebook. I remember posting that song and saying it's funny how a song with that title can make me feel so happy to be alive.
Yeah.
And that says everything that I need to say about that song. I hear that song and it makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. It's a good shout. My next pick is the Zephyr song. I mean, a lot of it's nostalgia probably. Like again, it's one of the ones that kind of got me into liking this album, if you like. I like the kind of intricate guitar part, like at the intro especially, like the do. It's really catchy. That's another example of John Frusciante having a kind of thin tone, but it's still sounding awesome. But yeah, that song in general is just really good. It's kind of like how you described I Could Die For You. It just kind of evokes happiness in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. For all it was the bottom of my list, it still puts a smile on my face.
It's just one that resonates with me, so I like it for that reason.
Absolutely. Number 4 for me is Venice Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I was swithering between this and the one that comes above it, but I'm going to put Venice Queen at number 4.
Why?
Now, why I'm putting Venice Queen at number 4, it's because of how well I think the song puts together essentially two different songs. But also, Red Hot Chili Peppers, they're not... John Frusciante's solo stuff, yes, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers aren't exactly like an atmospheric band, you know, but that intro is so like eerie and atmospheric and like, smoky.
It's my favourite part of the song. I really like the song up till about halfway through it, and then the song's alright for me.
See, for me at that bit, when there's a few seconds of silence and then the acoustic guitar, the really hard strummed acoustic kicks in, that actually like elevates me.
Number 4 for me is Tear. I like it again for a really similar reason I like the Zephyr song. It's a really uplifting song. I like the kind of, is it a Wurlitzer they're playing? It sounds like a Wurlitzer anyway. It's like some kind of electric piano anyway. Like, it sounds a little bit out of place in the album, like just a wee bit. The thing that sounds most out of place in this song, in a way, is probably the trumpet solo, but I really like the trumpet solo. It's good. I wouldn't have it without it.
Me too.
Everything works really well together. Nothing seems out of place on it, even though it's you'd think it would be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my pick.
Cool. Number 3 for me is Dozed.
Yeah.
So number 3 goes to Dozed, and I mean, there's not much really that I can say about that song. But I mean, the intricate guitar work. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 guitar parts kind of melding together throughout the verses, and then, funnily enough, when I was younger, I just assumed that Anthony Kiedis is the singer. He must sing the chorus. Obviously, the chorus is actually sung by John. Yeah. Other than the lines in between that are sung by Anthony.
Yeah, partially.
I was like, God, I didn't know Anthony was such a good singer. And I was like, actually, that's John. Again, not knocking Anthony. Anthony is a good singer.
Their voices work. It's a great example of how good their voices work together. That song. That's probably the best example in their whole discography of why they're really good together singing.
There's that song, and I would actually also argue Knock Me Down. What's your number 3 pick?
Worm Tape. You knew it was coming. I feel like, see, upon re-listening, I kind of wanted to put Worm Tape a little further down the list. Like, not as good. I enjoy it. I still really enjoy it. I wouldn't place it so high if I didn't. But I feel like I loved it years ago. I still love it, but like I was obsessed with that song years ago. Incorporating like kind of synth work into their album and just everything that song I really liked. I liked the vocal harmonies. That's one of my favourite things about this album. The vocal harmonies are on point. Yeah. Like 99% of the time they're on point. The synth sound is really amazing. It's a really nice kind of breezy tune. And I like the bass. The bass through it's really nice. And the drums are surprisingly calming, even though it's like a lot of cymbal work. It doesn't seem to make sense, but it just does.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. I've got you to thank for actually going back and appreciating that song. And you know, this is a long time ago now. I've loved that song for a long time, but you must have been maybe a teenager if you're lucky, and you're like, Anthony, why do you not like that song? I'm like, I don't know. Number 2 for me is Don't Forget Me. And that for me is an example of how powerful they can be when they want to be. It's a 4 chord song that stays the same all the way through, and they just make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just, every time I listen to it, I get chills, and it blows me away. Yeah,
good call. My number 2 pick, I've got it written down here.
I can see you wrestling with yourself,
and I'm not sure which one I want to say. I think I love these two kind of equally. You can probably guess what they are if you've been following it along. I think I would actually say Don't Forget Me as well. That's what I've got written down.
Good choice.
It was my number 1 pick before we started this call, and then I wrote them down. I changed my mind. I think it's definitely one of Anthony Kiedis' best vocal performances. I think it might actually be the best vocal performance of him in a song that's actually like also really, really strong. Like you say, the song just builds and builds, and it's like one of the simplest songs that they've ever made, and yet one of the hardest hitting songs they've made too.
Yeah.
And that vocal performance, especially that kind of
the high, yeah.
That's just like really amazing, that part of the song, and it's worth the build up to that part, and then just the final chorus is just a roar, just really good. I feel like those tracks like Zephyr Song, Doors, and Don't Forget Me, like all right up against each other. It's like bloody hell. I really love that song, and I wrestled with it. It was almost number one, but I just changed my mind there, like within the last half hour.
Yeah. This brings us neatly on to our number one spots, which I told Lewis before we started recording this video that I had to go from an emotional place when picking this one, because this album is very emotionally linked to, I think, both of us, really. So my number one pick is Minor Thing.
Yeah, I could have guessed that, actually. Like I actually thought it would have been like maybe number 2 or something like that, or number 3, but number 1, I can't fault that.
Yeah, I think the reason, there's twofold here that it's my number one pick. Firstly, I think it brings together all the aspects of what makes the Chili Peppers good. It's got funk elements in it, but it's also very, very melodic. And then the main reason is just the guitar. The guitar. That, in addition to the intro to Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the guitar solo at the end of the second verse stuck with me and left a massive impression.
Yeah, I can get that. The guitar just kind of steals the show in that song, even though the song itself is really good.
I feel like it's got as I said earlier, I feel like it's just got a wee bit of everything to love about the Chili Peppers in that one song, in a 3-minute song. You hear that song, you know what the Chili Peppers are.
Yeah, that's a good shout. My number one, if you haven't already guessed, is Dozed. Now, Dozed and Don't Forget Me, they were neck and neck. Like, it could have been anyone, really. I mean, I feel like I went with Dozed because although Don't Forget Me is a more like epic song, Dozed, just everything about that song works. There's nothing I dislike about it. I love the bass in it. It's a really catchy bass. The guitars, they just gel really well. That's one thing we were speaking about recently. John and Flea's musical bond is something out of this world. And this song is a good example of that. Just the bass and the guitar just gel so well together in this song. Again, I wouldn't neglect to say the drums as well. They're amazing in this song. They're really hard hitting as well. I'm not a drummer, so I don't really know, but they seem fairly simple, but in a good way, in the best possible way. Because I know that Chad can play a lot of technical stuff, but this seems quite stripped back in a way. But it works to the song's credit. And like you mentioned, I'll touch on the vocals. The kind of back and forth between Anthony and John, like the kind of almost duet they have, is just out of this world. It's just a really amazing chorus.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a really good shout to have them both singing in this song. I just feel like it plays to both their strengths. I think this song plays to everybody's strengths more than any other song on the album, and that's saying something. So yeah, that's my number one pick.
Well, I can't really argue with that, because Dozed and Don't Forget Me were my number 3 and 2, and then Minor Thing got the top spot just because it's special to me. Yeah. For reasons. But I suppose that's it. That's the entire album ranked. And again, like I said at the very start, it was really hard to rank these, and it could change in 5 minutes for me.
Same here. Yep.
So yeah, don't presume that because something was on the lower end that it's not well loved, because it certainly is. This album is it's always been very important. I think, to Lewis and myself.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this album, we like it for different reasons, but we've both liked this album arguably more than any of their other albums. Like, it's my favourite album of theirs, but I feel like we've both kind of had like some form of connection or like-mindedness with this album. We've both really appreciated it and what it's done for us, like inspiration-wise. It's an amazing album, start to finish, even including Cabron, my least favourite part.
Okay guys, that's our ranking completed. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know even your perhaps ranking of the album, and we'll certainly be back with more. This has been really fun. See you later.
See you later, guys.